Chapter 3 of our math is all about using prescription labels and information there to determine the answers to our questions. It goes along with what you are learning in your blue book this week as well. So, we're going to start with 3.1, problem sets, and that is figuring out if a DEA number is valid or not. When looking at a DEA number, you need to make sure that the letters of the DEA number are valid as well as the numbers. So, the first letter of your DEA number should either be an A, a B, an F, or an M. A, B, and F is usually used for physicians, and an M is usually used for a mid-level practitioner, which is like a PA or a nurse practitioner. The second letter is the letter of the physician or mid-level practitioner's last name. And then you have your numbers. So I'm just going to go over how you figure this out. As you can tell by first look at this, that the first letter here is a J. And like I just said, the first letter has to be an A, B, F, or M. So that alone would indicate that that's not correct. So this would not be a DEA number. But we're still going to walk through this. The C is correct because that is the first letter of the physician's last name. So that would be right. Then you have to use the numbers to figure out if it's correct as well. So as indicated here, we're adding the first, the third, and the fifth number together, which would be the 2, the 6, and the 8, and that gets 16. Your next step would be to add the second, and the fourth, and the sixth number. That's 1, 9, and 7. If you add those together, you get 17. And at that point, you would multiply it by 2, right here, and that gives you 34. Now, after you do those two steps, you would add the 16 and the 34 together, and that gives you 50. So your last check after your two initials is this 50. And the way that you check that is to make sure that the last digit here matches this one up here. So those do match. So you have a match in the last numbers, you have a match in the second letter, but the first one does not match. All three of those have to match to make it a valid DEA number. Now, number 2, we have the same thing. Your first letter is an M, which would be correct. Your second letter is a G, and your mid-level practitioner's name is Gonzalez, her last name, so that's right. So now we need to check and make sure that our numbers are the same. So we would add the first, the third, and the fifth number together. It's the 3, 8, and the 6, and you get 17. The next is the 2, the second, the fourth, and the sixth number. 0, 1, 5. Add those together and you get 6. At that point, you have to multiply the 6 by 2, and you get 12. And then you add the 12 and the 17 together and you get 29. You make sure this number matches this number. And it does. So those match, and the two numbers, the two letters match. So this is a valid DEA number. And this is very important to be able to do. It's going to be on your exam. It's going to be on your test next week. It's definitely going to be on your national exam. Alright, moving on to number 9. We did some like this. I'm not sure why they added it in again this week, but I'm just going to do this one just in case. Number 9, it's asking you to choose the drug product to fill the following order. And your order is for an acetic acid 1 to 400 irrigation solution. And like we went over before, your ratios are usually how many grams are in your solution. So there would be 1 gram per 400 ml. So you write that down here. The 1 gram and then the 400 mLs. And then to solve this problem, you need to solve for x to make it 100 mLs. So you would do the 100 times 1 and then divide it by the 400 and you would get 0.25. That would be a percent. So your answer would be 0.25% acetic acid solution. Alright. Numbers 11 through 16, you're going to use the labels underneath your questions to answer. We can go through, we'll do number 12. Okay, it's asking you for the brand name. The brand name is usually in all caps and it has that the little brand symbol, the little registered trademark symbol above it. And in number 12, our brand name is Prozac. The generic name is usually below it. Sometimes it's in parentheses. And our generic name here is fluoxetine. Our dosage form is whether it's capsules or tablets or liquid or something like that. And here we have capsules. It's asking you for the strength. It's 20 milligrams. The quantity would be 100. And the quantity is just how many capsules or tablets or how much liquid is in the bottle. Storage requirements will vary with the degrees and things like that, but normally it's either room temperature or refrigerated. That will do a good job. Then manufacturer's DISTA, and then your NDC number is always on your label, always, and it usually has NDC beside of it. It's important to write it in the 542 format, so your NDC number on this label only has 4 at the beginning numbers, so anytime it doesn't have 542, you would just add a 0 in front, so it would be 00777 310502. Alright, moving on. Number 17 is asking you how much medication should be dispensed for the prescription. Now, number 17 is telling you that the prescription is for ibuprofen 400 milligrams, and the tablets number is XX. So that is our Roman numerals again. And it's telling us to take 1 tablet by mouth 4 times a day with food. Now, normally on a prescription, you would use your directions to calculate how much you need for a 30-day supply. But on this prescription, it has a quantity written by the doctor, and anytime there is a quantity written by the doctor, you have to use that quantity. So even though they're taking it 4 times a day, and they, for 30 days, might need 120 tablets, it's telling us here that the doctor is prescribing XX, which, going back to our Roman numerals, X is 10, so 2 X's would be 20. He's given us 20 tablets. Number 18 is amoxicillin 500 milligram capsules. Take 1 capsule 3 times a day for 10 days. We're trying to figure out how many needs to be dispensed. They're taking 1 capsule 3 times a day, so that's 3 capsules per day. And if they're taking it for 10 days, you would just multiply those, and you would need 30 capsules to fill this order. Number 22, it's asking you what our day supply is going to be. 22 is for Cephalexin 500 milligram capsules, and they're telling us that they're giving us 28 capsules. The directions is to take 1 capsule by mouth every 12 hours. Since there's 24 hours in a day, they're taking 2 a day, because they're taking 1 every 12 hours. So if you take 28 and divide it by 2, since they're taking 2 a day, you would have 14 days worth of medication. Number 24 is Norpace capsules. They're 100 milligrams, and the quantity is for 120. Now, it's telling us that they need to take 1 capsule by mouth every 6 hours. There's 24 hours in a day, so to figure out how many times they're taking a day, for every 6 hours, you would just take 24 divided by 6, and that's 4. So they're taking 4 capsules a day. Since our quantity is 120, we need to divide that by 4, because they're taking 4 in 1 day, and that will give us 30. So, taking Norpace capsules, 100 milligrams, 4 times a day, we would need 120 capsules to take it for 30 days. The last thing is problem set 3.2. That's going on to page 87. To answer these questions, you need to use the chart on page 86. So, like number 1 is BID. You would just look over here at the chart and it tells you that BID means twice a day. So 1 through 10, you would just look at that chart and write down the meaning. Questions 11 through 15 are just asking you questions that you can find in the text. So I'll let you guys look those up. The route of administration, 4 types of routes of administration, the abbreviations. Number 14 is the abbreviations for dosing schedules. And dosing schedules are those that are once a day, twice a day, 3 times a day, 4 times a day. So it would be like the QD, the BID, the QID, things like that. Numbers 16 to 25, you're going to need to use these prescription labels for, you're going to use the chart over here to figure out what these are saying. Because when you go to a pharmacy, you don't pick up your prescription and it says II, CAP, PO, QID, PRN, itching. If we send that out to a patient, they're not going to know what that means. So for number 16, you would use your chart over here to figure out what this means. So the II is 2, CAP is capsules, PO is by mouth, QID is 4 times a day, PRN is as needed, and itching. So when you would write this out, it would be diphenhydramine capsules. They would take 2 capsules by mouth, 4 times a day, PRN, itching. So if you guys want to look over at those and use that chart to answer everything. And text me, email me, call me if you have any questions, concerns. I really would like for everybody to contact me at some point this week with anything that they might need, because our first test is next week. And it's going to be on chapters 1 through 4 of this math, 1 through 5 of your blue book, with most of the emphasis being on chapters 3 through 5, and then your pharmacology for the central nervous system, the endocrine system, and the cardiovascular system. Your cardiovascular sheet is attached to the assignments this week with all the little extra information, but what you really need to know is the brand generic conversions and what system it is. Also, your homework for Chapter 3 is a chapter review, assessing comprehension, finding solutions, and sampling the certification exam and the practice test. So bring that with you next Monday, and I'm going to start working on the PowerPoint thing like this for Chapter 4, which is a little more lengthy, and I'll answer any questions you have on these chapters before the test Monday. Like I said, give me a call if you guys need anything.